Welcome to the 18th episode of the Three Sportsmen podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kurt.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Trey.
And in this week's episode, we have a lot of news: college football, pick a player, the Bulls head coaching search, and Alex Smith. But before we get started, we'd really appreciate it if you subscribed to the channel, checked out the other episodes of our podcast, and followed us on social media, on Twitter,
At Podcast T3S.
and on Instagram.
At T3S Podcast.
We really appreciate any support, and we're also going to be looking for guests for future episodes. So if you are interested in being a guest, just DM us on either of those accounts and drop us a follow while you're there. So let's start off this episode by talking about the biggest
No
sports-
more Jim Boylen.
We're
It
getting to that
feels
later.
good. It feels great.
We'll get into that later.
I have to do it. It
I know you
feels,
did. I know you did.
It feels good. It feels good.
So we're starting off this episode talking about the biggest sports news of the week, college football. The Big Ten and Pac-12 have both postponed their seasons. Will not be the fall. They're considering a spring season.
I thought
Casey-
Big Ten canceled it for good.
No, it was only postponed.
It's canceled for the fall, postponed until spring. They're going to try to go for that.
They're not playing in the spring because to ask 2 seasons in one calendar year is a lot.
Number one, I think,
Like, imagine Minnesota, too.
yeah.
They're going to be playing football in snow.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, that's real football.
Exactly. That's real football.
Well, regardless, I feel like the top players would opt out for the draft. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like Justin Fields, even though they are.
Fields hasn't opted out yet.
I know. I'm saying if it were to happen in the spring.
Because
There
if
is
the
a
draft
chance.
doesn't move, I don't know.
The draft can't move beyond June
I heard
2nd,
a
I think it
rumor.
is.
I heard a rumor that Justin Fields might transfer from Ohio State to a different conference so he could play football
I've heard
in the
people
fall.
speculate that. I've heard speculation for that for a lot of the top prospects. The Oregon tackle.
Oh, he's the top pick,
What
isn't he?
Right now, he's considered number 3 on Tankathon.
What if Fields comes to Notre Dame?
I don't think he would.
So you just
Never know.
don't like your boy
Never know.
Book?
I love
Also-
Ian Book.
I don't see Fields leaving because he's making a petition to try to play. So I don't think he's
I don't
Trying to
think
go
that petition
somewhere
is
else.
going to work, though.
It's
–
not
I don't
gonna
think it
work.
will either.
And then I also feel like in addition to juniors who are eligible, I feel like a lot of sophomores would opt out because if they get injured in the spring season, depending on what it is, it could keep them out of the 2021 fall season. And then you're missing 2 seasons. Your draft stock is just completely messed up, or maybe depending on what the injury is, you may not be playing.
Yeah. I don't think the spring's really a good idea. Also, what is the spring? Like, what are we talking? Like March, February?
They're talking like February,
April.
March, I think.
And you're playing like into May.
Well, keep in mind, if they're trying to go like 8 to 10 games with that same conference schedule, that would be a little over 2 months. So like February to April.
Yeah, I don't
But
know.
that still leaves very little time for the players who are draft eligible to prepare for the draft, and then training camp for everyone regardless.
Because football, they wouldn't even leave because they have summer practices on campus.
Yeah, and that off season, that winter, spring, it's usually used for recovery and training.
Yeah, like strength. Yeah.
They're going to be losing a lot if they play in the spring. And another reason that I feel like this entire college football mess is happening, the NCAA is going to do whatever it takes to keep the players as amateurs. Whatever it takes so that they don't have to pay anyone. Because I feel like, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well, if they're on campus with no students, or if they're playing in a bubble, would you say that they're being treated like professionals?
I mean, it's similar to the NBA.
Yeah.
If it's a bubble. If it's not, then it's similar to the MLB.
Sam, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think that there should be a college bubble. I don't think that's stupid.
But if there was one, would that suggest that they're being treated like professionals?
That's exactly what they're being treated like. Then
Yeah.
And then as professionals, a lot more players would want to be paid like professionals, and the NCAA
I mean,
is
they're
never
already
going to
getting
let that
paid,
happen.
they're already getting treated like professionals already. Look at LSU's locker room.
Look at Bama's locker room.
Like,
look at the media and the exposure that guys like Joe Burrow get.
I mean, they do get college tuition, which is some of it, but it still couldn't. It depends on the player. That's
people
the thing.
that say that college football players should be getting paid. Like most of those guys that are going to be making money off jersey revenue were most likely players that got a scholarship and are technically getting paid already because they're going to school for free.
Well, I feel like regardless, they should have name, image, and likeness rights. They should be able to make money off their name.
Spotlight too. It's like a spotlight for the NFL too.
It's also kind of because I've been to Notre Dame millions of times, and every time I am there, they only have one player's number.
Yeah, I've seen that at some schools that I visited.
Are you talking about like jersey sales?
Yeah, jerseys.
Yeah, because Northwestern, they only have 51 for Pat Fitzgerald. Like, that's all they have for football. And basketball is like, I don't know what they have.
But it's not just like jersey sales. It's in addition to that, like being featured in ads and stuff.
Trey, they should get a Bennett Skoranek jersey there. That guy's goated.
You're not ready for him.
Oh, I'm definitely ready. I'm ready. That kid's been putting in work on his Instagram. He's been showing he's putting in a lot of work.
He's got glue hands. He'll catch what comes to him.
Just throw it in his vicinity and he'll make the catch.
Yeah.
Then in addition to that, the Pac-12 2 weeks ago, I remember mentioning to Trey that we could have talked about this. They started a We Are United movement before the whole We Want to Play movement started last week.
What if I don't want to play?
Then you should be able to opt out.
Well, I'm not. What if I don't want to opt out?
Then I don't really know what you should do then.
Funny guy, because I don't play college football.
So,
got you there.
In a piece from the Players Tribune 2 weeks ago, the Pac-12 players listed demands that included COVID-19 protections, third-party approved safety protocols. They wanted the Pac-12 to do a better job addressing racial injustice in college sports. They wanted medical insurance to cover 6 years after college athletic eligibility ends, name, image, likeness representation, and then more fair market pay rights and freedoms. And that really didn't get a lot of notice compared to the We Want to Play. I feel like part of that is because of the prominent players who were featured in We Want to Play, like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, because having them involved obviously is going to make a lot more people care.
Yeah.
But then my question for you guys, with the whole We Want to Play movement, one of the things that I've heard a lot is we should listen to the players. And I agree, we should listen to the players.
What if I don't want to listen to the players?
That's your personal decision, Sam.
What if I want to just put my headphones in and just don't listen?
I mean, that's up to you. But I feel like there are a lot of people who aren't willing to listen to players on other issues as well, such as name, image, likeness rights, just to name one example. And there's a lot of stuff that you don't hear, even within the Power Five. Lincoln Riley, as of the time we're recording this, Sunday, yesterday, said 9 players tested positive during their week off, 75% of the team stayed in Norman, Oklahoma. He did not specify whether those 9 positive tests came from the players who stayed in Norman or the 25% who left. So what does that mean for college sports?
I just
Well,
think
I mean,
the
I heard the
NCAA
other day. I saw the other day that there's like the March Madness, like the NCAA basketball director said that there will be a tournament this year.
I mean, I hope there
So,
is.
I think
they're just
there will be.
horrible. Their leadership's just terrible. I think they
feel
should have united all the conferences, and they just kind of were like, do it for yourself. And I think they all should have played, or none of them should have played. Like, it's just kind of, I don't know, lack
And
of
a lot of
leadership
people,
for all of it.
Yeah. A lot of people forget that the NCAA is just more than the Power Five.
Didn't
Oh, yeah.
Florida State deem themselves as national champions?
I don't know. I didn't
don't
hear
know.
about that.
I thought there was a thing that like the governors of Florida said that they deemed Florida State the national champions.
What? I'm looking this up right now. I want to.
Well, that's stupid if they did.
If they did that for football or for I think I found it.
Basketball.
Florida Senate proclaims Florida State national champion.
Based off of
So now we have state senates voting to.
Bro, they weren't even getting out of the Sweet 16.
I mean, they're usually a pretty good team, but
Yeah, they're usually pretty good.
I don't know.
Speaking of the devil.
So now it's time for our segment, Pick a Player. We started this 2 weeks ago. In this segment, we're going to be looking at 2 players solely based on their statistics. Then after we decide which player we want and why, we'll figure out who those players are. So Sam, you're hosting Pick a Player this week. Got 2 hockey players, right?
Oh boy, here we go.
Tell the audience we can see the stats in front of us, but for our listening audience, tell us the stats of player A.
All right, so player A, he's a rookie. Both of these guys are NHL rookies. One guy played
Player A.
64 games, had 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points, was a -1. That has not been the case recently. But next player, player B, played 61 games, had 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points, was a -26.
Ooh,
That's a lot worse.
Yeah,
it's
so
definitely not good.
who are we taking, boys?
Player
That
A.
-26 is not good. Player A has a much better, or slightly better, scoring totals.
The plus minus is the big one for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
What goes
That
into
plus minus is huge in hockey.
what goes into a plus minus?
Plus minus, you get so every penalty that you take, that puts you in a minus. But so for all the good things that you do, hits, create turnovers, not like turnover to the other team, but like you steal the puck, score, get an assist, that all that stuff.
Okay, so it's somewhat similar to how the NBA does it, just with different categories because of the differences
Exactly.
in sport.
All right,
Yeah.
so you guys want to hear the reveal?
Who are we going with first? I'm going player A.
I'm going player A.
All right, so player A, Kirby Doc. I think, and then player B is Jack Hughes. Just keeping in mind, Jack Hughes is the 2019 first overall pick.
Playing for the Devils?
Yep, and Kirby Doc went 3rd.
Okay.
So I think that we can all agree that we would take Kirby Doc right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
The beast, I'm telling you, he's a beast.
I know, he's your guy.
I love Kirby.
Doc and Kubalik.
Yeah, those are the guys.
Kubalik, oh my God. That guy is – if I've ever seen somebody know how to score goals, he's it. That guy is just pure – he's a pure goal scorer.
Well, recently the Hawks haven't been too hot, but I feel like their future is really bright.
I can see it. I mean, Ian Mitchell coming in from Denver. Michael Tepley coming in from Winnipeg Ice. Don't sleep. People are sleeping on the Hawks. They aren't ready. They're not ready.
What did you see from the team so far? The series isn't over yet, but
defense,
not looking great.
I like our defense. Our defense has done really, really nice.
I feel like missed opportunities has been what's been wrong for the Hawks.
16 posts in 3 games. That's a problem.
Yeah.
I still don't know how Kane missed that open net.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, game 1 was really the only blowout, 4-1.
Vegas dominated that game.
Yeah, 4-3 game 2, 2-1 game 3.
I mean, I'm not a huge hockey guy. I'm trying to get into it, but they should have won 2 and 3, I think. They were right there in both of them.
I feel like give them a little more time. This experience, I think, is going to be really good down the road.
I don't think Trey
for young teams, yeah.
Tonight.
Sam doesn't.
Obviously, it would have been nice to try to go for Lafreniere, who the Rangers pretty much have right now.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Just
Sam.
remember, there's always a shot at a pick being a bust. You never know.
And you get playoff experience.
Yeah, I feel like that playoff experience is more important for a young team.
Exactly.
Than tanking for a strong player.
And a young coach too for that.
Yeah. Especially considering I feel like the Hawks are more one of those. They're one of those middle of the road teams. They obviously would benefit from getting a guy like Lafreniere, but at the same time, get more experience with the group that you have, and you'll be much better in a few years.
It's true.
I mean, playoff experience helps.
Yeah. Sam, I know you also said earlier that you didn't want to play Colorado in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on them, how they've played so far?
I mean, against the Coyotes, they have not played very well, but, they haven't played great. They've had some games where they've played well, but it's just they haven't played as good as I thought they were going to play. Then, really the only reason why Vegas won these last 2 games is because of goaltending. Especially that last game. There is zero reason we should have lost last game.
Better goaltending from Vegas or worse goaltending from Chicago?
It's
yes.
Pretty much a both.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the NHL playoffs. We'll keep you updated in future episodes.
Vegas is 200 under is the favorite.
Now it's time for the segment that I know you've been waiting for, Sam. Trey, I know you're very happy about this as well. I think every Bulls fan is. Jim Boylen was officially fired from the Chicago Bulls as head coach. They are now searching for a new head coach.
Immediately. Now insert crab rave right here. Jim Boylen is no more. Yeah, I got it right here.
I don't think we can put it in the podcast. Copyright.
We can
because of copyright.
It's not 40 seconds. It's 40 seconds.
That's still too much.
We're going to have to cut it out.
Just playing it wouldn't qualify as fair use, so I don't want to mess with YouTube on that. But now, search for a new head coach begins, and there are a lot of candidates.
Immediately.
Trey?
Immediately.
Trey, you've got some of those candidates.
Yeah,
let's talk about each of them individually.
I have a list from CBS. They said Ime Udoka from the 76ers, who I like him a lot. I think he was on Popovich's staff.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good fit.
He got some consideration for the Raptors job before we hired Nurse.
I heard he's respected.
Kurt, Nick Nurse is bad. You should fire Nick Nurse.
Nah, we're keeping Nick Nurse.
We'll take him.
So, Trey, who is the second coach the Bulls are considering?
Sam's boy, Kenny Atkinson, the former Nets coach.
Yes.
I really like Atkinson.
Said he helped D'Lo. Or
come on to Chicago, buddy.
Well, he started off with nothing in Brooklyn.
Russell, Karis LeVert,
Joe Harris,
those guys.
Jared
Allen.
The only reason he's out is because Kyrie didn't like him.
That's what I'm saying.
Spencer Dinwiddie shouldn't have left Chicago.
Well, you can blame your boys, Gar and Pax, for that.
Well, come on back, Dinwiddie.
Go donate to his GoFundMe and decide where he's going to play.
Door's always open. Come on over. We'd love to have you.
I mean, I don't think he fits in with the current team, but
yes, he does. He fits in fine.
No, he doesn't.
I would really like to see Kenny Atkinson. I think he's a great head coach.
I like Kenny Atkinson.
He started off with virtually nothing in Brooklyn. So the fact that he turned them into a respectable playoff team, I think it says a lot.
They were 42 and 40 last year, I saw.
Yeah.
With no real star.
Well, this past year they didn't have Atkinson, right?
They had him for part of the year. They fired him midway through the season.
It was because of Kyrie.
Yep.
That was the only reason.
I'm slowly starting to hate Kyrie Irving. He complains. He's a crybaby.
He's a great second option, but my problem with Kyrie stems from how he left Cleveland and just how Cleveland.
Because now he thinks he's entitled to something.
I mean, obviously, having a player with a chip on their shoulder can be a good thing, but
I don't care. I honestly don't care. I was really, really sad to see KD go down, but Kyrie Irving, regardless of the injury that KD had, he's still the number 2 on that team.
He is.
Well, yeah. KD's one of the best in the league.
But according to Paul Pierce and Kendrick Perkins, he's the best goal scorer. I mean, he's the best scorer ever.
Who, Durant?
Who, Kyrie?
Yeah.
Or Durant?
No, Durant. Sorry, I said goal scorer because I got the Hawks game now right here.
No, it's all good. I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Who's another coach the Bulls are considering?
I mean, I liked Adrian Griffin a lot, but with the recent reports, I'm not sure yet. But, it's another name out there.
I feel like if the domestic violence allegations are proven false, I feel like he would be a great choice.
Pick him up. Come on over, buddy. Come on.
But that's only if they're proven false.
If they're proven false, yes.
I don't want to make any assumptions.
If they're false, come on over.
I don't want to make any assumptions on what's happening. From what I've heard, whether or not they are true, there is stuff going on in court with kids, child support, seemingly. Regardless, it seems, from what I've heard, it seems like the relationship is just not good. Whether or not the allegations are true or not, but I don't want to make any assumptions based on it.
I don't either.
So I feel like that's the most we should really say about Griffin. And who else do we have?
Yeah, Wes Unseld Jr. from the Nuggets. I could see it with Arturas.
I could see that, bringing in another Nuggets guy. And I mean, that is a basketball family.
Let's become the Nuggets 2.0. We'll become the Nuggets to the East.
Problem. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I mean, get some just strong players in general, develop them.
I'll take Michael Porter Jr. I'll take a Michael Porter Jr. type player.
I mean, you need to draft that, but
I love Michael Porter Jr.
Sam, I think you love Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, Sam wants Ty Lue. Sam wants Ty Lue.
Oh God, Taze is yelling at the ref again.
Only a few minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's 4 minutes in, and he's already yelling at the refs.
All right, Trey, who else do we have?
Darvin Ham, the Bucks assistant, Becky Hammond from the Spurs, and then Mark Jackson. She's a really good coach.
She seems like a really good coach.
Oh, it's 1-0.
Okay.
Sam's not happy with that.
He's not happy. He's very happy.
Yeah, but that's the 7 candidates. I would take Ime Udoka personally, and maybe Kenny Atkinson.
I'd go Atkinson.
If Griffin gets cleared up,
Udoka.
That's another option.
Oh, Trey, guess who got the assist on the goal? Patrick Kane. What a surprise.
All right. How long do you think it will take for the Bulls to find a coach?
I mean, they can take their time. They could take their time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Just before the draft. Just before the draft. That's all I'm asking.
Like Arturis kind of said, he said that he's going to take his time. He's going to evaluate all of his options, you know.
Yeah.
Just before the draft, because I want the coach to have a say in the pick.
Thoughts on what the Pelicans should do? They fired Gentry. Would you want him? Do you think the Pelicans search is going to impact yours?
It could. I mean, it could. I don't want him. I personally want a young coach that can grow with the roster.
Like what the Blackhawks did.
Yeah, that's what Sam and I were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Like, he's growing with the roster, which could be really good in a few years. Like, it's not a bad idea.
Because Doc and Boquist said that they like Colleton a lot.
And that's what you want from the really young guys that are
I think
controlled
Colleton had one of the funniest moments I've ever heard. Colleton, like, out of him, he's kind of like that. He's kind of like a silent coach, and so him, Kirby, Doc, and a few other guys. It may have been Drake Kajula, and Adam Boquist, and Alex DeBrincat, and then Jeremy Colleton walks in the room and is like, "All right, what the fuck is this shit all about?" And like they were doing like the golf simulator.
Oh my God!
I laughed so hard.
You gotta love the young coaches sometimes.
Exactly, they're good people.
Yeah. David Ross doing well with the Cubs, another young coach.
So far, yeah.
Like, he's not that old. Like, he's like 41, isn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, he only retired
though,
like 2 or 3 years ago.
For a manager, that's still somewhat.
I like David Ross.
I like David Ross.
You can't hate David Ross.
No, you can't.
He's a good guy. Like,
after what he did with the Cubs, like, there are. I know I'm not a Cubs fan. Like, I was a Cubs fan for like a year when I was little, but there's not many people on the Cubs that you can hate.
Yeah. Another player.
I mean, they're all nice guys.
Yeah.
But.
Like, the one guy that like, if you hate this guy, you are just you're an animal. You can't hate Anthony Rizzo. He's such a good guy.
One of the best guys off the field.
Yeah.
For what he does off the field is crazy.
Yeah. Another guy who's great, who you really can't hate. Alex Smith. He was officially cleared to play by team doctors. What a comeback.
I mean, if you look at the videos of his legs, like, oh my God.
It's insanity.
Trey, just last night on COD, didn't you say you don't even remember what happened to him?
I forgot, like, what happened, and then I, like, saw the hit again, and I was like, oh, yeah. Like, it's been so long, and I saw videos of his leg, and I was like,
Trey,
oh, my God.
What happened to what's-his-face, that tight end of your – like, the tight end of the Bears tight end that happened to him?
Oh, wasn't it Zach Miller? Is that his name?
Yeah, Zach Miller.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he retired. He couldn't do it anymore.
Even if he's not starting, I feel like Alex Smith deserves comeback player of the year.
I could see it.
Never know.
It's going to be between him and Cam Newton, I have a feeling.
Well, if Cam balls out in New England, he's definitely going to win.
If Cam
with the
plays
media.
like 75% to his MVP level, I feel like that would be enough to get it for Cam. But otherwise, I feel like, or even if he does play that well, I feel like Alex
Imagine
Smith
if he won MVP this year.
Who, Newton or Smith?
Cam.
Belichick.
I mean,
that's all I would say.
He's becoming one of those like dark horse guys who are like, along with Drew Lock. I don't want to really get too much into Drew Lock.
Don't sleep on Drew Lock.
Yeah, I'm not sleeping on him, but I feel like 5 games it's not enough to fully judge a player.
It's a small sample.
I don't care. It's just like Zion Williamson, and the media is still overhyping Zion Williamson.
So you don't like Zion, but you're gonna overhype Drew Lock.
Yeah,
because I actually like Drew Lock.
Yeah, so it's
Drew Lock.
It's the same thing.
It is very similar.
I actually like Drew Lock. So,
yeah, but does that validate 5 games being worthy of that much hype when you're not giving that to Zion because you don't like Zion?
It's kind of biased.
I don't like Zion. I don't like Zion at all. See, I mean, I would like Zion if the media didn't overhype him, but the media doesn't overhype Drew Lock.
I mean, there are a lot of fans who are starting to.
Exactly, because they're starting to realize they're hyping on the Drew Lock hype train.
Yeah, I feel because it's the trend of second-year quarterbacks winning MVP, and no one sees Jones or Haskins doing that. Kyler,
I'll join the
maybe.
Trey wants to join the Pistons hype train, or maybe the Raiders hype train.
That Broncos offense is going to be so.
He has no
to
excuse to not be good.
So much
That's
fun
all I'm going to say about Drew Lock. He has all the weapons he needs.
He does.
True.
If he doesn't succeed, it's on him and the coaching staff, really.
Oh my God.
Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. They don't have that great of an offensive line, though. That's the only downside I could see with the Broncos.
But, you know.
In a division with some great pass rushers, that could cost them a few games. All right, so those are our thoughts on college football conferences canceling. We played Pick a Player with Sam, talked about the Bulls head coaching search, and the return of Alex Smith. We really appreciate any support on the podcast, so be sure to check out our other episodes. Leave your thoughts about this episode in the comments section below, and of course, like this episode. We are having guests on future episodes, so if you are interested in that, of course, please let us know. DM us on social media. We listed those earlier in the episode, and you can see them on the screen and in the description. Remember, the Three Sportsmen is a weekly podcast, so be sure to tune in next week. And remember, trust the podcast.